The nature of our life is we do not know what is going to happen in the next moment. Life is unpredictable. Life is mysterious, and that is what makes the life more and more interesting. No matter how good you are, no matter how talented you are, there are some times, and there will be some times, that things won't go in your way. Life will give you hard kicks. Life will give you tough lessons. I know in those times, we all feel like giving up. We all feel like quitting what we are doing. But you have to remember one thing. Everything that is in life is impermanent. Nothing is permanent. Not even your pains, not even your problems, not even the troubles that you go through today. It is going to change one day. Keep that in your mind and believe in it. This is to everyone who is going through tough times in your life. Please do not ever quit. Don't give up. Because the pain you go through today, the troubles you face today, the problems you face today is just a chapter in your life story. It's just a page in your life story. It's not your whole life story. Remember this. If you were to tell your life story in front of thousands and thousands of people after one day you become successful, if you were to tell a nice and a simple and a soft story, no one will be inspired with that story. The more you face troubles, the more you face problems in your life, the more tough your life becomes, your life story will be more interesting. And one day, your life story can be a survival guide for someone in out there. Remember this. So whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're feeling like giving up, whenever you face problems, I need one thing for you to do. Go out and help someone. This is not something that you hear oftenly. Go out and help someone when they feel down. Okay? Give a helping hand to someone when they are feeling troubles and when they go through tough times in your life. Because you have to believe that what you give is what you get, right? Even though you are going through tough times in your life, you must be willing to help others because that gives the happiness, right? The more you face troubles, you can understand how others feels like it to go through tough times, okay? So when you feel down, always try to help someone. I know how it feels like to constantly fail, and I know how it feels like to constantly fall and be unsuccessful because I have been through that situation. Okay, so help someone, help people, right? And also do not ever give up. Sometimes you have to be patient because things get time to work out. Okay, things take times to get better. Okay, remember, great things take time to be successful. Okay, do not believe in quick and instant results because we are so used to this instant world. Because in this instant world, we need everything instant. Okay, this world is built up to give you everything instantly. The outer sources, when you log on to social media, it comes instantly. You can take something instantly. You can know about something instantly. You can download something instantly. But in real life situations, things are not instant. It takes time. Successfulness takes time, right? Happiness, it takes time. Peacefulness takes time. Relationships to build up, it takes time. Nothing is instant in real life. You have to wait. You have to be patient. So in those times, we feel anxious and worried, right? We feel stressed. But remember, when you feel stressed, when you're tired, it is okay to rest. But it is not okay to quit. Because as long as we live, as long as we survive on this earth, as long as we have our lives, we can have a chance to be successful. We can be better at what we are doing. So this is to everyone who is going through tough times in your life. Believe that one day you're going to be happy. One day, you're going to be proud about yourself if you focus on yourself and if you work on yourself. So keep in your mind, no matter how tough the situation is, never ever give up. Keep moving forward. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to discuss about how can we clear our mind. Now, so many of you complain when I'm meditating, when I'm studying, there are so many thoughts popping inside our mind. I cannot stop it. I'm worried. What can I do? Well, the reason for this problem is we are looking at the meditation and we are looking at our mind in a wrong way. Always remember, meditation is not about emptying your mind. Okay? You can meditate while having thoughts inside your mind. That is the most wonderful thing about meditation. You don't want to empty your mind. You don't want to close the mind and let not other thoughts come in. No. Okay? Just try this to yourself. If you try to stop thoughts, what will happen? The nature of your mind is it will generate more thoughts again and again. Okay? That is the nature of your mind. Because we don't know that trying to stop thoughts is also a thought. Okay? So remember, meditation is not about stopping thoughts. It is about being aware of your thoughts. There is one practice in Buddha's teachings. It is called Chittanupassana. In Chittanupassana, Buddha introduced us to a wonderful meditation of being aware of what comes into your mind. Okay? Let the thoughts come into your mind, but be aware of it. Because most of the time, we are not aware of what is going inside our mind. That is the problem. That is why we get caught to these unwholesome thoughts like greediness, craving, anger, hatred, and a lot of things. Okay? Because we don't know what is going inside our mind. The Buddha teaches us, that Buddha introduced us this meditation to be aware of what is coming into your mind. Let's say a lustful thought came to your mind. Okay, it's okay. Everyone feels lust. Everyone feels this craving and desire inside their mind. But the problem with most people is they don't know that their mind is under desire, under lust. Okay, but if you can be mindful, okay, if you can detect when the lust arises, this is a lustful thought that is popping inside my mind. If you can detect it, if you can identify it, then the nature of your mind is once you identify your thoughts, once you are aware of that thought, it will start to be silent. Okay? It is something like a little baby. Look at your mind like a little baby. Okay? Now, when we are not aware of the babies, what they are doing? They are doing a lot of nasty things, okay? They are doing a lot of naughty things. Why? Because we are not aware of them. But once we pay our attention, they try to behave. Okay? Because they know that my parent or these elders are being aware of me. Okay? So they try to be disciplined. And also, the nature of kids and the nature of little kids is they are very curious. So does the mind. Mind is very curious. It likes to cling into certain things and like to search certain things. So what we can do to quiet our mind or to make silence inside our mind is just to pay attention to what comes into your mind. Don't try to stop it. Okay? The more you try to stop it, the more it will come. So what we have to do, just be aware of it. When you become aware of what is going inside your mind, you bring your mind to this present moment. Because these thoughts and everything that goes inside your mind happening in this present moment. If you can see the appearance of the thoughts, and if you can see the passing away or fading away of the thoughts, it will start to get quieter. Okay? So when your mind is busy, in the next time, try this. When your mind is busy, when a lot of thoughts come into your mind, just try to identify one thought. look at your mind like you're looking at an external thing, okay, and try to identify one thought. When it arises, you can identify, oh, okay, it is arising now. When it fades away, okay, you're knowing and you are understanding that this thought is fading away. Once you do that, it is very amazing that your mind gets silent and quieter even more. So this is how we can clear and quiet our mind when we do meditations or when we are doing certain things in our life. So keep this advice in your life and practice it. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to introduce you to this basic and simple Buddhist practice. And this practice is known as Sila. Now, the word Sila is a Pali word that we can translate it to English as ethical conduct or virtue. Now, in Buddhism, the Buddhist teachings are always directed to the liberation of mind, or it is the ultimate goal of Buddhism, the liberation of mind from all the sufferings. To achieve this state, Buddha taught us that you should practice 3 practices. First one is Sila, which we are going to discuss today. It is called the ethical conduct. Second one is Samadhi. Samadhi means concentration. And the third one is Panya, or it is known as wisdom in Buddhism. So Sila plays a crucial role in Buddhism and Buddhist practice. So what do you mean by ethical conduct? Ethical conduct helps you to be disciplined from your body and from your words. Okay? So once you become disciplined from your body and from your words, then normally your mind will be disciplined. So these are coexisting, okay? That means these practices help each other, okay? Once you become disciplined with your mind, you can be disciplined from your body and from your words. Or if you become disciplined from your body and words, normally, automatically it happens that your mind will be disciplined. So that is why the Buddha introduced us these ethical conducts or practice of virtues in Buddhism. Now, basically, Buddha taught us that we need to practice 5 precepts. Okay, these are 5 guidelines that Buddha taught us to practice in daily life. Now, for someone, you may feel like they are a set of rules, but in reality, Buddha never imposed rules on anyone. Okay, these are guidelines, and these are the things that Buddha teaches us to practice because Buddha saw that there are disadvantages if you break these guidelines. For an example, the first practice of Sila is to abstain from killing beings. Okay, so when you kill animals, there are so many disadvantages that comes to your life, and also you acquire a bad karma because your actions and your intentions are unwholesome. Once you kill animals, kill living beings, your intentions are unwholesome. So through unwholesome intentions and actions, what will happen? You will gain bad karma. And that bad karma will lead to suffering in one's life. And that is why Buddha said, there are disadvantages and there are bad consequences when you do these things. Okay, when you kill animals, when you steal, there are disadvantages that comes to your life. So as beings who likes to be happy in your life, okay, in your personal life, if you like happiness, then stay away from these bad deeds or unwholesome deeds. So abstaining from these unwholesome deeds is known as precepts in Buddhism, or Sila, or virtue in Buddhism. Okay, so there are mainly 5 precepts that we all need to practice. The first one is abstaining from killing beings, staying away from harming anyone's life. Okay, first one. The second practice is abstaining from stealing, abstaining from taking anyone's possessions without permission, okay, without asking. That is an unwholesome deed, and that has many bad consequences. Okay, people have to suffer if they do that. Second one is, Buddha said, abstain or stay away from sexual misconduct. Okay, Because when you engage in sexual misconduct, that leads to many bad consequences in your relationships. Okay, so Buddha said, stay away from sexual misconduct. Third one is abstain from or stay away from lying. Okay, when you lie, you break the trust of people. Once you break the trust, there are many problems in your life. Okay, there will be many problems in your life. So Buddha said that stay away from lying. And as the final precept, Buddha said that stay away from intoxicating yourself. Stay away from using drugs and other intoxicants. Okay, because that leads to a lot of sufferings in your life. So these are the main and basic Buddhist practice, or Sila, or precepts, that all the Buddhists practice in all around the world. Okay, so basically these precepts or these virtues helps you to develop a better life and a happy life without regrets. Once monk Ananda asked from the Buddha, what is the purpose of practicing ethical conduct? Then the Buddha said, you should practice ethical conduct to stay away from regret and remorse in your life. Now, if you look at these things, if you look at these 5 precepts, killing, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, abstaining from using intoxicants, if you do these things, what will happen? At the end of this deed, there will be nothing but the regret. Okay, you end up regretting yourself, like, why did I do that? Okay, so Buddha said that that is one of the major harms to your life, to your spiritual life, for someone who is engaged and for someone who is seeking the peacefulness in your life. So Buddha said, practice a virtuous life and a clean and a pure life to be happy inside. Once you know that you are happy and you are clean and pure in your mind, in your character, then it will give you a big happiness to your life. So that is why we need to practice these virtues. Okay, that is the purpose of Sila. So understand this simple Buddhist practice and try to practice these precepts in your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the threefold practices in Buddhism. Now, no matter how the way that you are approaching the Buddha's teachings, these are the 3 practices that you need to practice in Buddhism. Okay? So we are going to take a look at these things. Before understanding these 3 practices, about these 3 practices, we have to understand why we should practice these things. Okay? What is the goal and what is the ultimate goal of Buddha's teachings? Now, the ultimate goal of all the Buddhist teachings is to liberate your mind from unsatisfactoriness. Okay? Liberate your mind from all the sufferings in life. Okay? Because the Buddha said that the life is based on unsatisfactoriness. Okay? So once you have a deeper and a wiser understanding about your life, then you can liberate your mind from all the unsatisfactorinesses in your life. Okay? So Buddha realized that to achieve this state, to enlighten your mind and to liberate your mind, you need to make some conditions and you have to practice your mind. So that is why Buddha introduced us these 3 practices to practice in our practical life in order to enlighten our mind. So without any further ado, let's dive into these practices. So the first practice in Buddhism is called Sila. Now I have discussed about Sila in an earlier video, you can watch it here. So basically, the Sila means the moral and ethical conduct, being disciplined from your body and from your words. Okay, so once you practice this Sila, you can be disciplined from your body and from your words. Now, Buddha understood that when we are living with people, the way we behave, right, the actions that we do from our body and the words that we speak will impact the lives of other people as well as us. Okay, It will impact the life of ourselves, the way we behave and way we speak. And also, it will highly influence the others' lives too. And that is why Buddha said, purify your conduct. Do wholesome things from your body and from your words. So Sila helps you to practice the verbal and the physical conduct in a moral and a more ethical and wholesome way. Okay? So in Sila, we have precepts. Basically, for lay people like you, you have 5 precepts that you can protect. Okay? The first one is abstaining from killing beings. The Buddha says that stay away from killing beings. In that way, you become disciplined from your body. Abstaining from stealing. Do not take others' possessions without their permissions, without the permissions of themselves, with the stealing mind. Okay? Once you protect that, you be disciplined from your body. And Buddha said that stay away from sexual misconduct. When you abstain from sexual misconduct, you become disciplined from your body. And the Buddha said, stay away from lying. Be disciplined from your words. Do not break the trust of others from your words. And finally, Buddha says, stay away from intoxicating your body. Okay? Do not use intoxicants and other drugs. It will lead to harmful situations and harmful consequences in your life. So basically, Buddha introduced us these 5 precepts to protect in your life. When you observe and when you protect these 5 precepts, you become disciplined from your body. Okay? So that is why Sila helps you to be disciplined, to live a disciplined life. Why we should live a disciplined life? We should live a disciplined life to stay away from regrets. Because when you look at these 5 precepts, if you engage in these things, if you kill animals, if you steal others' possessions, if you commit sexual misconduct, if you lie, and if you intoxicate yourself, what will happen? There will be a lot of regrets in your life. And also there will be things that you have to worry about. That is why Buddha says, stay away from these 5 things and you will live a regretless life. Okay? So that is the first practice. Moving on to the second practice, we have samadhi. Now, samadhi can be translated as concentration or mental peacefulness inside your mind. Now, remember, this samadhi is supported by the first practice that is called the Sila. The Buddha said, when you practice Sila or when you live a moral and ethical life, what will happen? You will have less regrets in your mind. You will have no regrets in your mind. Once you have no regrets in your mind, what will happen? It will lead to the mental happiness. Because most of the people, they worry about the things that they have done in the past. Okay? Unwholesome things that they have done in the past. But once you live according to the precepts, once you live a virtuous life, then you can be happy about yourself. And also, your mind will be in a good and a happy state. That is why this samadhi is supported by the Sila. Now, why we need samadhi? Now, we need samadhi to think clearly. Because you know that when your mind is busy, when your mind is scattered, and when it runs here and there, it is very difficult to think clearly. Now, Buddha considered that thinking clearly and thinking freely is a great benefit to understand the reality of your life. And that is why we need to practice samadhi. For practicing samadhi, Buddha introduced many meditations. So one type of meditation is called samatha meditation. Samatha meditations helps you to condense your mind and find that peacefulness inside your mind. Okay? It includes loving kindness meditations, breathing meditations, mindfulness meditations. All those meditations will help you to achieve a peaceful and a calm life. Okay? So, but remember this, to achieve a peaceful and calm life, we have to focus on living a virtuous life, living a disciplined life. Keep that in your mind. So let's move on to the third practice, and this is the final practice in Buddha's teachings. That is called wisdom or panya in Buddhism. Now, so many people think that knowledge is wisdom. Always remember, knowledge is a part of wisdom, but it is not the wisdom. Now, Buddha explains that you must achieve wisdom from three means, from three types of wisdoms. The first type of wisdom is called Suttamaya Panya. Suttamaya Panya means the wisdom that is gained through learning. Okay, you can learn, you can read, and you can listen to sermons, right? That is called the knowledge. Of course, wisdom has a part of knowledge. And also the second type of wisdom is called Chintamaya Prajna. Chintamaya Prajna is the wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting. Okay, the wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting on what you have learned, the reality of your life. When Buddha teaches about the reality of the life, when Buddha teaches about the impermanence and the reality of all the things, you have to wisely reflect on it. Okay, you have to think upon it. And once you think and once you wisely reflect on it, you gain the wisdom. You gain a deeper understanding. Okay, that is called Chintamaya Prajna, the wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting. And also in the third type of wisdom, this is the most important type of wisdom, that is called Bhavanamaya Prajna, the wisdom that is gained by practicing. Okay, now the wisdom that is gained by practicing is supported by all those two wisdoms, Chintamaya Prajna and Suttamaya Prajna, the wisdom that is gained by listening or learning, and also the wisdom that is gained by wisely reflecting. Now Buddha says, when you learn and when you think and when you wisely reflect on it, then you can apply it to your practical life by doing meditations, by doing it practically. Okay, many of the people believe that Bhavanamaya Prajna is only based on meditations. No, Bhavana does not mean only the meditation. It gives the meaning of development or practicing. Okay, so you have to look, how can I apply these Buddha's teachings? How can I practice these things in my practical life? Once you do it, your wisdom will be developed. That is how you practice the wisdom in Buddha's teachings. So basically, these are the three main practices in Buddhism. Sila gives you the ethical and wholesome bodily and verbal conduct. And Samadhi will help you to develop a concentrated and a calmer and a peaceful mind. And Prajna gives you a deeper and a wiser understanding about the reality and our existence and all the experiences that we go through in our life. Once you practice these three practices, you will be directed. Your life will be focused on liberation. Your mind will be well prepared for the liberation and to a deeper understanding about the life. So these are the three practices that we practice in Buddhism. Try to practice these things and try to apply it to your practical life. Wish you all happy and a peaceful life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to discuss about another good quality that we all need to practice in our life, but we often forget this to practice. Now, what is this? It is called mudita. In another word, it is called appreciative joyfulness. What do you mean by this mudita? Mudita is the ability of being happy when you see someone else's happiness. For an example, let's say you're on social media and in the same time you're having a bad day. Now, when you scroll down, you see these nice pictures of people enjoying their life, living the best days in their life, being happy, and you're not having that life currently. In that case, what do you feel? First, the first thing that we feel is we feel down about ourselves. We think like, my life is terrible, my life is worse. Okay? And the next step is, for some people, they feel a little bit of angry about those people. And that is called envy. Okay? So the Buddha teaches us to practice mudita to avoid jealousy in your mind or avoid envy in your mind. Okay, so how to do that? This is a very simple practice, but to get used to it is very, very difficult because for a long time, for a long period of time, we have practiced this envy in our mind. Okay? You know, the nature of mind is the more we practice something for a long time, it gets normal. Okay? It gets easier. That is why we are so good at these evil things like, you know, being angry, okay, being jealous, being distracted, okay, and being envious on others. That is why we are so good at those things. The Buddha teaches us to practice as a daily practice this practice of mudita, being happy on other people's happiness. Okay, let's say now you're seeing someone who is better than you, okay, more successful than you, more pretty than you, more clever than you. Let's say you're seeing someone like that. The first thing that you have to do is you have to wish the well-being of them, right? Think like, may they be successful even more. May they be happy even more in their life. You have to wish this from the bottom of your heart. You have to mean it and you have to feel it. Okay? When you do that, you feel happy. Okay? You don't feel the discomfort of envy. And also, in the same time, when you generate these mudita, thoughts of mudita, you generate a huge power in your mind to heal your mind and to be successful in your personal life. Okay, that is the power of mudita. Being jealousy, being envy on someone's life will never help you to be successful. Okay, will never get you anywhere. One of the things that my teacher has taught me in my life is that don't be jealousy on someone's life, because jealousy will never help you to be successful. Okay, jealousy will never help you to thrive and be more productive, and it will keep you in the same place. Okay, without being successful, keep you in the same place, and it lets you to be angry on other people. So what we have to do, whenever we see some people who are better than us, we have to think that may they be better than us even more. Okay, may they be happy in their life even more. And that is called mudita. Okay, you can do, and you can start this practice from the people who are around you. Okay, there are people around you in your home, in your family. Start from them. Okay, wish the well-being of people around you. Okay, wish the well-being of your neighbors, your people who are in your city, your classroom, your school, your country. Okay, if you can spread those thoughts of mudita, you try and say this, you will feel much better in your heart. Okay, even when you feel down, and even when you are in your bad days in your life, you can be happy about your life because you are not comparing your life to other people. The reason why we feel jealousy and envy in our mind is we are constantly comparing our life to other people's life. We are so good at that. The more we compare our life to other people's life, the more we feel down about our personal life. Okay, so this is not something that we have to do. Okay, instead of harboring jealousy and envy in our mind, the Buddha teaches us practice the thoughts of mudita. Be happy on seeing other people's happiness. When you practice this, you will feel a big difference in your mind. Okay, and you will feel a big success in your personal life. So remember, mudita is the best medicine for the envy and jealousy in our mind. Namo Buddhaya. Have you ever wondered why some people are so good and so clever in what they're doing? Maybe there are some people who are studying with you, maybe some people who are in your workspace. There are some people who are very clever and very capable of doing in their profession. Okay, they are very successful in it. What is the reason behind this? What is the reason behind this success? Well, if we can define success in one word, the only word that we can find is consistency. This quality is very important for all of our lives. Not only in your day-to-day life, not only in your career, but also in your spiritual path. Okay, if someone is practicing spiritual path, consistency is the key for success. Okay, now what do you mean by consistency? Consistency means doing something every single day or without stopping for a long period of time until you get better at it. Now, if we look at our life, there are some bad habits we all have in our life. Okay, why we are so good at these bad things? The reason behind why we are so good at bad things is we have done it for a long period of time every single day without stopping. That is the nature of our mind, and that is the nature of our life. Whether it is good or bad, if we are doing it consistently, or if we are doing it over and over for a long period of time, we get so good at it. That is why we are so good at distractions. That is why we are so good at anger, jealousy, and all these evil thoughts in our mind, because we have practiced it over a long period of time. Now, Buddha said, if you need to cultivate wholesome thoughts, and if you need to do, and if you need to be successful in your spiritual life, what are you going to do? You have to cultivate and you have to practice these wholesome thoughts or wholesome activities for a long period of time without stopping. Okay, every single day. Okay, let's keep the spiritual life for a part. Let's take the studying and education. Now, if you're someone who is studying and if you're someone who is focused on education, what do you have to do? You have to keep studying. Okay, sometimes you find very difficult and very challenging to keep studying. Why? Because our mind gets distracted. Okay, sometimes we lose our focus. Now, in that time, so many of people, they complain that I cannot study. Okay, I'm distracting always. What is the reason? Why? What is the problem with me? Well, the only problem behind the failure or the unsuccessfulness is lack of consistency. Sometimes we try to study and then we feel tired and we feel less focused, and then we give up. Okay, and then after maybe like 2-3 days, again we try to study, and then again the same thing happen, and then we give up. Okay, in that way you're not going to be successful. Okay, if you want to be successful in any field of your life, maybe studying, maybe in your meditations, maybe in your spiritual life, maybe in kindness, maybe cultivating compassion in your life, what do you have to do? You have to be consistent. That is the only way to be successful in anything. I can still remember when we came to become monks. Okay, on the first day, our monks gave this first advice to us. That is, they said that it takes several minutes to become a monk physically. Okay, it takes a few minutes to make your body a monk, but it takes years and years, maybe lifetime, to be a monk from your mind. You will fail, you will be unsuccessful in some parts in your life, but you have to keep going. Do not ever quit. That is the first advice that we were given. So, to be good at anything, to be successful, to be happy, to be successful in your spiritual life, to practice meditations, to be good at that, what are you going to do? Keep doing it every single day. That is the thing. But there's a problem. The real problem or the real enemy for the consistency is the higher expectations. We set a lot of high expectations in our life, and when we are not able to get it, we give up. That is the only thing. Now, so many people come to me and complain that I cannot meditate for 1 hour. What is the problem with me? I cannot focus for 1 hour. Well, in the beginning, no one can do that. Okay, there may be some few lucky people in this world. Okay, they can concentrate instantly, but if you want to be good at in your meditations, in your focusing and your concentration power, what do you want to do? Keep doing it. Okay, do not set high expectations, right? Aim for the little achievements. Maybe like you can focus and you can think like, before you are starting meditation, you can think, well, if my mind became concentrated or well focused only for 1 minute, that's okay. I'm happy with that 1 minute. Okay, when you focus on that, you can easily achieve it. You can do that. When you achieve it, you feel a sense of happiness in your life. You feel like you achieved that target. So in the next day, when you meditate, maybe you can focus your mind, or you can concentrate your mind for 2 minutes. Okay? So if you keep on focusing on little achievements and without having high expectations in your life in the first time, then you will be good at maintaining your consistency. Because sometimes when we don't see results, okay, when we don't get results quickly as we want, we just give up. That is the biggest problem in our minds. Okay, to be successful, you need to spend a period of time that you are not seeing the results. Okay, one day I was climbing, and in Sri Lanka we have a nice mountain where we climb to see the Buddha's footprint. Okay, that is called Adam's Peak, or the Sri Pada in Sri Lanka. So once we were climbing, we could not see the mountain top. We don't know where we are going. Okay, so one monk said to me, it doesn't matter, you cannot see where you are going, but if you're clear in your next step, take that step. Okay, and if you're in the correct path, no matter how fast or slow you go, you will go to your destination that you want to go. So always remember that it doesn't matter how fast or how slow you are moving towards success. The most important thing is that whether you are going to do it every single day in the correct way or not. So remember, consistency is the key for success for anything. So keep doing what you're doing, right? Keep doing the good works that you're doing, even if you don't see the results in your life. Keep doing it, and one day I'm very sure that you will achieve your goals, definitely. So keep that in your mind. May you be happy and well. Namo Buddhaya. A lot of you have been asking from me for a long period of time this question, that I am new to Buddhism and I want to know more. Please recommend me some books to read. Well, today I'm going to be recommending you 5 books that you must read as a beginner to Buddhism. Now, I have categorized these 5 books into 3 groups. The first group is the books that will give you a good understanding about the Buddha's life story. The second group is the books that will give you a good understanding about the core and fundamental Buddhist principles. And the third one is the books that will give you a good understanding about how to practice Buddhism in our daily life. It's something like a practical guide in your daily life. So without any further ado, let's dive into these books. First off, we have The Buddha and His Teachings by Narada Mahathera. Now, if you are interested in learning the Buddha's life story, this is one of the best books that you can read. The first half of this book is entirely dedicated in explaining about the Buddha's life story and about the key moments of the Buddha's life story. Now, having a good understanding about the life of the Buddha is very important when you learn Buddhism, because there are some things, and it is something like you're having a good foundation to your knowledge. So in this book, in the first half, you can learn the key moments of the Buddha's life story. And the second half is entirely dedicated in explaining about the main Buddhist concepts like karma and rebirth and enlightenment and etc. So as a beginner, you should read this book, and this is one of the best books that you can start reading as a beginner to Buddhism. Next up, we have one of my personal favorite books, and that is Buddha, the Marvelous Sage by my teacher, Venerable Kiribati Jnanananda Mahathera. He was the monk who took me under his wings and taught me Dhamma and gave me this precious gift of Dhamma. Now, this book is very special because it flows like a river. Now, when you read this book, it is also about the Buddha's life story and also some of the teachings of the Buddha. It flows like a river. It is very difficult to put down this book, right? If you are fascinated and if you like to learn more about Buddha's life story, this is one of the best books that you can read. And also it has some explanations about the Buddha's early lives, how the Buddha practiced and how the Buddha practiced some good qualities to attain the Buddhahood. So if you're interested in learning about the Buddha's life story in detail, this is one of the best books that you can read, Buddha, the Marvelous Sage. As the third book, I have one of the most famous books that have ever written by an author about Buddhism, and that is none other than What the Buddha Taught by Venerable Walpola Rahula Mahathera. Now, if you're interested in learning about the core Buddhism and main Buddhist fundamentals, right, and Buddhist concepts, this is the best book that you can read and you have to read. In this book, it explains about Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path, enlightenment, and some concepts like anatta. And there are so many profound and very clear explanations about Buddhist concepts in this book. So this book falls under the category of the books that will give you a good understanding about the core Buddhism and Buddhist principles. Moving on to the fourth book, I have Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. Now, I don't want to explain much about this book because the title tells everything. Mindfulness in Plain English. Now, if you are interested in learning about the mindfulness and Buddhist way of mindfulness, how to practice the mindfulness in your daily life, this is the best books, and this is one of the best books that you can read. It is in simple English that everyone can understand. Now, I have seen all over the Bhante Gunaratana's works that every book that he writes is very simple to understand and it is very applicable for our life. So you have a good understanding about the mindfulness and the meditation. So if you are interested in learning about the mindfulness and how to practice and how to apply the mindfulness to my life, this is the best book that you can read, Mindfulness in Plain English. As the fifth book and the final book, I have the most famous Buddhist book in the entire world, and that is none other than Dhammapada. Now, I have done an entire video about Dhammapada. If you want to watch it, you can watch it right here. Now, Dhammapada is a set of verses that was spoken by the Buddha himself. Now, these are the pure and the direct words from the Buddha himself. So, if you want to learn about the Buddha's a way of life and Buddhist weave, this is one of the best books that you can read. And also, this is known as the handbook of Buddhists. Now, I have heard that a lot of our Hindu friends say that when you have a trouble in life and you are going through a tough time in life, take Bhagavad Gita and read and you will find some answers. I would recommend for every one of you, read Dhammapada too, right? If you turn into a random page, you will find something that is very worthy and very valuable in this book, right? Now, this is very easy to read because it has the poem-like structure, okay? It has very small poem-like structures, verses, so it is very easy to read and it is very easy to understand. There are a lot of translations of Dhammapada, so I would recommend the translation that is done by Venerable Acharya Buddharakkhita, also known as Bhadabhante Ji. His translation is one of the best translations that you can find. So if you can find this book, then please read it and learn from it. Dhammapada is one of the major books that you have to read as a beginner to Buddhism. So here we are. These are the 5 books that you must read if you are new to Buddhism and if you want to know more about Buddhism. So all the links to each and every book I have mentioned down in the description box, and some of them have free PDFs, so you can read and you have to learn Buddhism like that. I want to say that you don't want to be a Buddhist to just read these books. Everyone can read and everyone can learn from Buddhism, because Buddhism is open to everyone. You can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian person, you can be a Hindu person, no matter what religion you are from, no matter what nationality you have, you can learn Buddhism, and Buddhism is open to everyone. So learn Buddhism and make your life happy. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I will be answering a question from comments. So one of our viewers have asked from us that he has mentioned, my exams are near, especially final exams. I am totally stressed and I'm tensed. So I feel like not doing anything. Please help me. And the question ended with a sad emoji mark. So I'm extremely passionate about answering these kinds of questions. So in this video, I will be sharing with you some tips and things that you can practice in your daily life to overcome this exam stress and also the stress in any kind of challenges. Okay? So here's the thing. First of all, you have to remember that not only exams makes us fear or stressed. Almost all the challenges that we face in our life, when we face them, we feel stressed and we feel depressed. Okay? We feel the fear. So fear and the stress and this that feeling, that the tense feeling that is inside your mind, is a common human reaction. That means you are not alone in this world. Everyone, including myself, and everyone feels this. Okay? Everyone feels that. So you're not alone. So the first thing that you have to understand is what is in your control and what is not. Okay? So let me ask you a question from you. Is the questions that you face in the exam paper, the questions that you get in the exam paper, is it under your control? No, they're not. Okay? You don't know what you're going to face, but one thing that you know is you will be getting one of the questions from the things that you have been taught. Okay? That is for sure, you will get that. So the questions that we get is totally not under our control. How the examiners make the question is not under your control. So if something is not under your control, is it worth worrying about? If you have no anything to do about that, right? If you cannot do anything to change it, no, you don't want to worry about that, because why we should worry about the things that we cannot control or we cannot change? So that is the thing. The exam questions are not under your control. Understand it, first of all. And the next step, what is in your control? Exactly the process, getting ready for the exam, studying, and the amount of hours that you study and the techniques that you use to study, okay? And how productive you become is totally under your control, okay? So you can do something about that. So if you can change something, if you can do something about that, should you worry about that? You don't want to worry about that because it is totally under your control. Okay? That is one thing. And the next thing that you have to do is to try to be in this present moment. Because in the times of exams, we are so focused on maybe like in the future or to the past. Sometimes if we haven't done anything, like if we haven't studied, what happens with us is we constantly regret about the things that you have done in past. Okay, and if you're stressed about the exams, what will be happen in the exam, then you are constantly regretting or thinking about the future. We hardly stay in this present moment. So what we can do is we can train our mind to stay in this present moment, because you only own this moment, not the past, not the future, but the present. Okay, so do some meditations, do some mindful exercises to be present, to stay in this moment, and make a good choice to study, to make a change in your life. That is one thing that you can do. And the another thing that you can do is to get used to this thinking of impermanence, thinking about impermanence. Okay, in Buddhism, it gives a huge space to talk about and think about and reflect about the impermanence. Okay, whatever feeling that you feel now, maybe stress, maybe depression, maybe anxiety, maybe happiness, whatever the feeling that you feel, let it be good or bad, it is impermanent. It is going to change. So for sure, your exam stress, right, how you feel about exam is also going to change over the time. So you don't want to worry about that. Okay, that is one thing that you can do to focus your mind on impermanence. And the other thing that you can do is to be the best that you can be. Not to be the best in the class, maybe in the school, or maybe in this university, not to be the best, but to be the best version of yourself. Okay, if you try to be the best version of yourself, you try your best to do it, you give your best to do it, you give your fullest potential to do it. Okay, so there's another problem that comes in here. Okay, our parents have lots of expectations about us. Even that makes us a little bit stressed. So what we can do, this is one thing that I give as an advice for all the students if they have those kinds of problems. You have to maintain a good communication with your parents. Okay, go to your parents and say, Amma or Tata or Mama or Dada, maybe I cannot be the best in the school, maybe I cannot take the fullest marks in the exam, maybe I cannot be the best in the university or somewhere else, but I will try my best in the exam. I will give my fullest potential to study and to be good at exams. Okay, so when you do that, your parents will understand about you. Okay, that is one thing that you can do. And finally, this is one thing that you have to do and you must do during these exam times. Be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself. Sometimes some children, they try harder by not sleeping and spending sleepless nights and not having proper healthy foods and not having proper nutrition while they're studying. That will not help you to be productive. Okay, so you must study as well as you must maintain a good health, because that will help you to maintain a good mental balance. Okay, so be kind to yourself. Okay, if mistakes can happen from anyone, okay, you can make mistakes in your life, okay, but you have to forgive yourself. And also you have to remember that exams are not the life. There are so many things that you can do and you have to do beyond the exams, and this is not the only challenge that you are going to face in your life. Okay, so keep these tips in your mind and practice these things, and then face the exam. So I hope you will get some light on this topic. So I wish all the best and all the very best in your exams. Be more productive and live your life happily. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the concept of karma according to Buddha's teachings. Now, when you hear the word karma, the first question that comes to your mind is, what is karma? What is the meaning of this word? Well, if you take a look at the definition of karma, it gives the meaning of action, right? But in Buddhism, it is more than action. The Buddha said it is intentional action is the karma. In Nibbedika Sutta, Buddha explains this as Chetanahang bhikkhave kammang vadami, chetayitva kammang karoti, kayena vachaya manasa. Monks, I say that intention is the action, or intention is the karma. And intentionally or willingly, one performs actions or karma either physically, mentally, or verbally. That means that intention, chetana, or the intention, plays a greater role behind our karma. Now, according to the intentions, the karma can be divided into two types. Buddha said there are kusala karma and akusala karma, wholesome actions and unwholesome actions, right? Now, what is wholesome action? They are the actions, they are the things that we do with wholesome intentions, right? Like we do certain things with wholesome intentions like love and kindness, compassion, patience, serenity, right? When we do certain things from our body, speech, and our mind with wholesome actions, wholesome intentions, we generate karmas that are wholesome. And also there's the other side of the karma, that is unwholesome actions. Okay? Now, akusala karma or unwholesome actions is a broader topic, because so many people think that akusala karma is something that is bad when it comes to unwholesome actions, right? Akusala karma is not only bad, but also there's another hidden meaning behind this. And that is, there are certain things, there are certain actions that we perform during our day-to-day life, right? They're the things that we do in day-to-day life, like talking and writing and like sleeping and traveling. We need actions and we need intentions to do this. Intentionally, we do all the actions, but they're not certainly unwholesome. So the meaning of akusala karma means the actions that do not fall under the wholesome actions or kusala karma. Of course, there is the unwholesome actions or the bad karma or the evil karmas that we do, and also there is other neutral karmas that we perform during our day-to-day life. So they are called the unwholesome actions, right? So based on the intention, the karma can be divided into two different parts, and they are wholesome actions and unwholesome actions, kusala karma and akusala karma. Okay? And the word karma does not come alone. It comes with this word vipaka or phala, right? Vipaka, the word vipaka gives the meaning of result or outcome. And the word phala gives the meaning of the fruit. Okay? Now, the word phala is a great word to understand about the law of karma. Let's understand about it in this way. Let's say I planted a mango seed on the ground. In few years' time, what do I get? I can have mangoes, right? And also, if I planted a chili seed, in few months' time, what can I get? I can get chili, right? So when we plant something, a seed, it has the potential to give the result in the future, right? If I planted a mango seed, that mango seed has the potential, it has the ability to generate mango fruits in the future. Okay, same like that. If I did a certain karma in this moment, right? If with an intention, if I perform an action in this moment, it has the potential to create a series of experiences in the future, whether it is good or bad, right? So remember, the vipaka is the effect that we are going to get in the future, right? Now, this whole idea behind this law of karma is the law of cause and effect. When we make the conditions for something, then we are going to get the results out of it in the future. Now, the nature of the results highly dependent on the nature of the karma that we perform today. Let's understand about this in this way. Now, I planted the mango seed, right? That mango seed had the power to generate mangoes in the future, right? But if I wish this mango seed to give chilies in the future, no matter how hard I wish, I will never get chili out of it. I get mangoes because it has the nature of generating mangoes. Same like that, right? If I did an action with an intention, it has the power to generate the experiences or the vipakas in the future. So if the nature of this karma that I am performing today has the intention of wholesome, or if I did with a pure mind, a pure intention, it can generate desirable experiences in the future, desirable results in the future, because that is the nature of this seed of karma. In the same way, if I did something unwholesome with an unwholesome intention, I will get unwholesome or undesirable experiences in the future, because it has the nature of generating undesirable experiences in the future. So this is the whole idea behind the law of karma. Now, why do we need to understand about the law of karma and how karma works? Now, if you had a good understanding about the law of karma and how karma works, it is very easy to be compassionate on others, and it is very easy to be compassionate on yourself. Right? There are certain things and certain experiences that happens due to our past karmas, right? Now, according to Buddhism, we believe that we are coming from a long journey of rebirth that is called samsara. Now, in this long samsara, we have performed both good and bad karmas. So in this life, we are going to get some sort of experiences from our past karmas, okay? So if you take a look at that, when the tough times comes, when the problems comes to your mind, sometimes people blame to themselves. People hate themselves and think like, I'm a bad person, right? I'm a bad person. I'm a negative person. No, right? Just because you performed a bad karma doesn't say that you're a bad person, okay? Because each and everyone, we are living in this society, in this world, perform good and bad karma, okay? So we don't want to hate ourselves. We can be compassionate on ourselves, right? Everyone is subjected to this law of karma. And also, if you have a good understanding about the law of karma, it is very easy to be mindful and be in this present moment. Why? Because sometimes we worry about the things that has happened in the past, right? We worry about the things that we have done in the past, and we think like, oh, I did this thing and my whole life is ruined, right? Of course, you cannot change the past, right? That is the truth. You cannot change the past. And also, you cannot stop the outcomes of the things that you have done in the past, or the results or the vipakas that you have done in the past. Okay? You cannot change it. What is within your control and what you can change is this present moment. And if you become mindful about this present moment, then you can create good karma, not the bad ones. So I hope you got a little understanding about the karma and how it works. So until next video, stay happy and stay safe. Namo Buddhaya.